Hi everyone, I'm excited to do this video because the velvets are back and there are new shades. When I launched my 3 True Red velvets this time last year actually, I was very nervous. I didn't know how they'd be received, what people would think of the texture, how they felt on the lips, the colours, all of those things. And I am thrilled to say it was such a huge global success and so many people have asked me to make them again. Now they're very hard to make, these velvet lipsticks, which is why I know that people who weren't able to get them last year or weren't able to get them when I did a very mini restock were quite upset. But even with this launch, I expected it to be weeks ago, but it's a little bit like childbirth. I kind of make them and then I make them again and I think, oh, it'll be easier next time. And actually, it's just never easier. For that very reason, even though I know they're so popular, I'm only going to ever make these once a year. That's my promise to myself and I'm sticking to it because it's too much stress. As much as I love them, and I really do, and I know you guys do too. But I've got a nice big restock and 6 new shades, so I'm really happy. This is the lightest of all the new shades. This is Velvet Fawn. And then I've got some berries, some chocolate, some smoky rosewoods, and some really nice brown shades. So all of these shades are available individually as they were last year, and I have also made some new kits, some new trios. This time we're going to have this really beautiful deep cherry red pouch, and this is a slightly more dense velvet than last year, so it's a little bit more matte and it's so beautiful quality. You've got the same little monogram on the edge of the zip there as well. So that is the pouch this year. So as with all of my velvet lipsticks, for me the real work is of course creating the beautiful texture and the way it looks, but the work for me is in the undertones. That's the thing that I really enjoy. I like to, I don't know, to the untrained eye you might say, well, that's a red and that's a pink and that's a brown, but to me I like to play a lot. So if it's something which traditionally would have had more blue pigment in the base, I would like to add some orange or some terracotta or a little bit of pink or a little bit of red, so that when the lipstick goes on, I'm seeing, that's where the chameleon-like quality comes in, which I think sets my colours apart and what I'm most proud of and what I most enjoy really. So it's really looking at them and thinking about how can I twist this colour and make it something which is more special. So the first new kit are the new velvets, and this trio, I'm going to go through all of the shades individually later, so don't worry. But this shade, the concept of this trio is, these are the sort of smoky colours. The next kit is the blue velvets, and this trio is really all about the berries. So the pink berries, the vibrant mulberries, and the deep sensual blackberries. And then the fourth kit, which I've called the Ultimate True Velvets, has the smoky rosewood shade, which is called Velvet Muse, the classic red, which is Velvet Ribbon, which is the true red with a slightly blue undertone, and this amazing new shade, which I'm going to show you in a moment, called Velvet Decade. So all of the shades are now available for pre-sale from my website, and if you just go to my website, lisaeldridge.com, you can look at all the colours again, and you can place your order. Everything will then be packed, and then when they go live, everything will be sent out, just so that everyone gets their order quickly once the launch goes live. So if you do want to pre-order them, then please go to the site. So on to the first shade, and this one is called Velvet Fawn, and you can see why. It's a real beautiful fawn colour. This was inspired by lots of the nude shades that I have in my vintage collection from the 90s. So these were all the different tones of nude that we saw really in that decade, but lots of them, doesn't matter what skin tone they're on, I found they were very deadening to the face. So with this one, I tried to really play with the undertones, about thinking about bringing life to the skin. So I'm going to show you how this looks on. It's exactly the same velvet texture as the other velvets, the previous red ones. So very creamy. Feels very moisturising and has definitely a matte look, but not a dry matte look. I like to apply this one with a lip pencil, and I'm going to use one which is a touch browner. So I'm going to give myself that real 90s supermodel pout. And that's it. And I feel like it's, although it is obviously quite a light lip colour, it is not deadening to the skin. And that's because I have really tweaked those undertones to give some life. Because a lot of these kind of colours, me personally anyway, I felt like they drain me and they make me look almost like I've died, you know? I sometimes have to put so much eyeshadow on or blush just to look alive. But with this one, it just has a little bit of vibrancy that just lifts the skin. And this is how this delicate, pretty shade looks on some other skin tones. This beautiful shade is called Velvet Muse, and I was wearing this in the intro to my last film. I've been wearing it a lot actually, and my clients, I've been putting it on a lot of my clients as well. This is like the ultimate smoky rosewood nude shade. If I was to describe, if this was a fragrance and I had to describe what kind of a fragrance it was, I'd say the top notes are rose. The middle notes are cedar, maybe saffron and sandalwood. And the base notes would definitely be musk and wood. So hopefully that explains the kind of shade it is. So I'm going to go ahead and apply it. I'm going to use a pencil and just do a little bit of work around the edges of my lips. With a brush, sorry. One more dab. This one is also really nice as a blush. It's so natural looking. It also looks really nice if you don't apply straight from the bullet, as with all of the shades. Just apply using your finger and pat on if you want a more natural effect. So that's the shade Velvet Muse. And here's how it looks on some other skin tones. So our next velvet is Velvet Beauty. And this is a vibrant pink berry shade. It can be applied either as a stain. This has a blue undertone, so very nice for whitening the teeth. Or you can apply all over. It's just a really fresh, vibrant, blue-based pink. You can either apply it just like that, or you can use, I've got a pencil here, if you want to create more definition, maybe a little more depth, or maybe even deepen those edges. This lip pencil is pretty much a perfect match for it. This is called Boundless Berry. So that's it, that's Velvet Beauty. And here's how it looks on other skin tones. This shade is Velvet Myth, and it's a wildly vivid mulberry. So if you like your berries bright, then you're gonna love this color. I'm just gonna apply it across my lips, and then I'm actually going to use a lip brush with this one, just to get my shape. Oh, look how white my teeth are. This has given me instant tooth whitening. It's because of the blue and the red undertones in there that it really has that vibrancy, which is also good for, as you can see, sort of brightening the whole face. It's a really beautiful, bright berry tone. And here's how it looks on other skin tones. So on to the next shade, and this one is called Velvet Decade, and I am obsessed with this colour. This was inspired by some of the hand-tinted sepia portraits I have from the 1920s, so theatre actresses and silent movie stars, when they've obviously tinted the photography, but it looks almost like burnt chocolate, the lip colour. And I wanted to recreate this colour because I think it's a really flattering colour on lots of different skin tones. Obviously, it looks different on everyone. So I'm going to go straight from the bullet to start. It's a real burnt chocolate shade. I found a very, very good pencil for this one. Matches really well. I'm just going to tidy up my edges. This shade definitely has chameleon qualities, a little bit like Velvet Jazz, in that there are quite warm, almost hot undertones, so terracottas and quite bricky, vibrant, almost oranges, but there's blues in there as well. So depending on your skin tone, so on a very fair skin that's got more of a cool undertone, you'll really feel the burnt chocolatiness, the brownness. Whereas on a warmer skin tone, so someone with more of an olive skin tone and yellow undertones, you feel it slightly more mauve in the chocolate, like dark chocolate, you know, the way it has that almost mauvey quality to it. And in a very deep, rich skin tone, it's like the perfect nude shade with a slightly warmish terracotta-y undertone. So, and it also depends on the light as well, but this is probably, I'm not going to say it's my favourite shade because I like them all, but this is, I love this shade. One more tip for this one, if you are scared of darker colours, take a fluffy brush. So this is an eye brush. It's like an eye pencil brush that you would use underneath your eyes. Just dab a little bit on the end there, or do it once you've done your pencil, or even before you've done your shape, and just soften the edges. Kind of blurring the edges really, taking off the hard edge. I've just done it quite subtly, but you can really soften those edges. And you can also do it as a lighter stain. You could blot it and then really sort of buff it, which would soften the effect as well. But this is Velvet Decade. Here's how Velvet Decade works on other skin tones. Last but not least, Velvet Midnight, and this is the darkest of all the shades. It's a true dark blackberry. And of all of them, I feel this one to look at is incredible. I think this shade lends itself particularly well to its velvet coat. I could almost drown in that velvet texture. I mean, it's incredibly dark, as you can see. It's so wow. With my lip shape, I would use this, either I would have to fix it with a lip pencil or a lip brush. I'm going to sort of do both. I'm going to correct it with a lip brush first. Then I might do a little bit of penciling as well. It just means that even though my lower lip is quite thin in compared to my top lip, I can still wear these dark shades because I can cheat. On the lower lip, actually I'm going to overdraw a touch. Just under there. And just adding one more layer, just gently patting. And that is Velvet Midnight in its full vampy power. And here's how Velvet Midnight looks on the other girls. So just to recap, the new pouch for this year is the plush red cherry pouch. It's a little bit matter, a little bit thicker than it was last time, and I really love the colour. Of course, the reds are available as well again this year. Also available as a trio are the new velvets, and these are the smoky colours. So there's the nudes, the chocolates, the dirty rosewoods, and the brown shades. And they are Velvet Fawn, Velvet Muse, and Velvet Decade. Then we have the blue velvets, Velvet Beauty, Velvet Myth, and the Vampy Velvet Midnight. And these are the blue berry tones. And for a final kit, I've chosen these three, which I'm calling the Ultimate True Velvets. And for this kit, I've chosen Velvet Muse, which is our smoky rosewood shade, Velvet Ribbon, which is the classic red, so slightly blue-toned red, and Velvet Decade, which is our chameleon burnt chocolate shade. But as I said before, they are all available individually, so if you don't want a kit and there's just one that you've got your heart set on, that is absolutely fine. So that's it. That's my new velvet collection, and I hope you're going to love them.